I'm kind of interested in a concept that Corey introduced me to. What is your P-doom number? This is the probability that your tech will cause doom. Personally, I think the media trust, we're in the negatives. We're trying to maybe counteract all the other stuff out there. How about you, Corey? What are you at?
I think I'll align with Kevin Roos of the New York Times at 5%. I think it's a 1 in 20 chance. I think we have an opportunity to make sure that we're keeping an eye on this, even the fact that we have that measure and it's somehow a dinner party conversation is something that means we're paying attention to it. And I think that's a lot of like what we're focused on in AI is like, there's a lot of ways this can be used for good and, generate a lot of really cool creative. There's a lot of ways that can be used nefariously as well.
And we are already seeing the ways it can be used nefariously in digital advertising, malware. There's lots of fear about AI replacing jobs, but it's really already causing consumer harm, both code and content. Let's start with creative issues. At our DTS Summit in New York back in December, Corey, you had a great conversation about AI. And what were the highlights?
Yeah, we had a great group there, a lot of good input. I think the biggest concern is, I think, the scale, like the influx of creative that could have, where something that would have been a campaign that had 60 creatives can very easily have 6,000. And then how do you handle that? How do you check through them? How do you make them change? I think that was one of them. I think how, they're used for more things with more negative connotations like deep fakes and that kind of stuff is a problem. I think there's also a heavy dose of skepticism in that group, which I thought was a good thing because although we think all these things can happen, I think everybody's like, are we really seeing it yet, though? And just like a lot of things that we do in digital, I think we could be pontificating in a space where we haven't, seen that be a problem. There's definitely a real risk. I think we're keeping an eye on it. There's a lot of things that we're doing at the Media Trust to be able to detect these types of things in creative content. Was it generated by that? And by tools that make, AI deepfakes and AI generated content in general. But I don't know that we've seen this like explosion of it yet, but that's definitely the fear.
And we've definitely never gotten in ad tech. We've never gotten caught up in hype, have we?
Not once.
Pat, scale is also a huge concern with malware. You spoke at length at the DTS Summit as well about the AI effect on digital threats. What are your biggest concerns?
So it's mainly around the fact that the bad actors will be able to basically have somebody else rewrite their code in a different fashion, make it so no longer detected by the standard IOCs that were previously utilized. But one of the big concerns from the group was they're going to now build multiple landing locations, build brand new websites at a rapid pace. They're going to be able to, do this at scale without any effort. And it is an unfortunate reality that the ability to create these websites and create these malicious destinations are going to be that much easier. But I think the main problem will be around, we just have to identify the campaigns that are leading to them. Once we get those campaigns and buyers terminated, doesn't matter how many landing pages there are, it won't be running.
So what's key to making that happen? The best approach defense to threat actors using AI?
I would say you got to fight AI with AI. The more machine learning, the more processes you have in place on the security front, you will be able to identify these threats easier and quicker. And as the models learn, obviously, you'll get better and better at identification of them.
What about for actually like kind of identifying them? I mean, how do you fight that scale, Corey?
I mean, I don't really know if you can fight it. I think it really just drives home that like you can't take like a sample-based approach to looking for these things, right? It's not statistically relevant in malware and bad content to scan 1% of ads and expect that that's what your ecosystem looks like. I think you have to scan everything. You have to know everything. You have to put all the creative through the rigor. Because it'll with that scale, stuff's bound to slip through, and I think you got to keep an eye on it, and you can't just peek here and there.
Sample-based approach does not work.